And welcome everyone to an all-new episode of the Comic Multiverse, where the worlds of nerd meet. And by God, has it been a long and winding road to get to this friggin' third episode, hasn't it, Matt?
Oh God, the amount of stuff we had to do.
Technical difficulties up the ass doing this, and in fact, we're doing it at a different time now. We're actually doing it at the time we used to do Blood Sweat Comics at, because we had a bit of a fuck up this morning on my end, so I had to ask Matt if we could reschedule. So we're doing this one later, so you might get more high energy from me, and I won't be drinking as much.
Well, it won't be falling asleep halfway through and
That's
everything.
fucking Batman, Iron Man's. Shh. No, there'll be none of that. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Pardon, I'm doing all right. As we said before in the intro that got lost, you and I real busy right now working on our channels, working on our schedules and videos and what haves you.
Yeah, I got a lot of cool stuff coming up. I haven't really decided what I'm gonna release when yet. I've still got to like schedule it all out.
Yeah, I'm mostly trying to stick to like the works that I did before and the stories that people have been following, while also picking up new stuff like the Ultimate Spider-Man and like Old Man Logan and so on and so forth.
Nice, nice.
I've also been trying to do some different stuff. Like I did a show Collector's Edition, which is literally just me adding stuff to my collection. Yeah,
It's the comic hoarders.
yeah, comic. It's not comic hoarders yet, but it'll get there. Give it time, it'll fucking be there. I also brought back Comic 2 Cents. I was doing some topics. I'm thinking I should probably do one in the next couple weeks on Deadpool, which, is save that thought because we'll have plenty of Deadpool. In fact, instead of what we read this week, at the end of this episode, once we've covered all the news, and there's a fair amount of news, Matt and I are going to be doing our full on spoiler cast of Deadpool. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, wait till you listen to the second half of the show if you don't want anything spoiled for you.
Yes, I don't think there'll be anyone left on Earth after this who hasn't seen Deadpool. So
Sure seems that way, doesn't it?
yeah.
One of the other things I did this week before friggin' Skype rudely cut me off, but I got some of that Batman cereal from Batman v Superman.
Yeah, it's they don't sell it down here in
I,
Australia.
I was amazed they sold it here in Canada because we usually never get cool shit like that. But I saw it in the store and I'm like, oh, God damn it, I have to have it. So I put my Raisin Bran back and I got my Batman instead.
Your raisin bran.
Yeah. Hey, Joel likes 2 scoops of raisins and Joel likes being regular, is the thing. Look, if you want to be a big, strong, successful YouTube man, you got to be regular and have bowel movements often. That's important. Like if I ever did like a TED talk or a Q&A where it's like, Joel, what do you accredit your success to? Good BMs. That's what I accredit it
Yeah,
to.
raisin bran.
Raisin Bran.
It helps clear me out in the morning.
Yeah, really. Hey man, I got to clear out this Red Hood and the Outlaws somehow. All this shit I take into my body, it's got to go somewhere. But yeah, that's mostly what I've been looking on. The funny thing is that of those cereals, Superman had the much cooler box. The red and the blue looked much nicer.
Yeah, well, like I was just thinking, like red and blue are sort of like what you'd associate with cereals, because like cereal boxes are always
Mm-hmm.
colorful and
Yep.
whatnot. So yeah, it would make sort of sense that that one would be nicer.
The Superman one is Caramel Crunch, and it looks basically just like Captain Crunch. And Batman is chocolate and strawberry, to which I'm like, okay, the chocolate I get, because, he is vengeance, he is the knight, he
Yeah.
is Batman. Where the fuck is the strawberry coming from? Is that Robin because it's red, just a little red Robin strawberry on the side? Or did they just think chocolate wasn't enough?
Probably they should have just done like double chocolate or something.
Yeah. Chocolate, no parents. That's the flavor. No parents. Rich eccentric
Uh,
weirdo. That's the cereal. Look, I'll buy this Batman cereal, but do I have a butler who will come and feed it to me?
that comes if you win the competition.
Why do I feel that if, Alfred tried to, give Batman some Batman cereal, he'd be like, what the fuck is this shit? Spend all night fighting crime. I want bacon and morphine in the morning.
Bacon and morphine.
It's what he would need to keep going, the Batman.
Yeah, yeah.
I want bacon and morphine and enough horse crank to keep me up for the next 72 hours. It's what you got to do if you want to bring justice to the world. And speaking
Yep.
of justice, I guess I'll hit you with the first piece of news, and it's quite a packed week this week. I can't remember the last time you and I had this much news to cover.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's been a while.
The new Daredevil trailer hit early this morning. When I woke up, everyone was shouting it to me in my feed, like, "Have you seen it? Have you seen it?" Well, yes, I have seen it. What did you think of it, Matt?
It's pretty fucking awesome.
It was pretty awesome. It's told almost entirely from the Punisher's point of view. We get to see more John Bernthal in this than we have in anything else.
I know, he seems like a really good Punisher.
He
Like a really
seems
proper Punisher.
he seems fucking crazy, which as you should be.
Yeah, I said on my Twitter the other day, I hope we get like the early Punisher who was just like going after people for like jaywalking, or like cabbies that get scared of him shooting jaywalkers running red lights, so he shoots them. You know, that kind of that kind of Punisher.
just a fucking maniac.
Yeah,
I, I
yeah.
like I like in the trailer too. Daredevil and Foggy's cop buddy are like, "Oh yeah, there's a new player in Hell's Kitchen. You know, these mobsters were taken apart with military precision." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cute. They think it's a new gang, not one fucking person."
That sort of makes sense as well because like the Punisher, like Frank just like goes insane on like all these like big gangs, and people think that, oh, it's just a big gang war.
Nope, one
But
guy.
no, no, it was just one guy with a machine gun.
One guy's war on. I love it. There's the bit where he has the huge ass fucking machine gun, like the Saw, like the SAW, and I'm like, ooh, 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 this is just like the scene in like the opening bit of Garth Ennis's Punisher Max when he mows down an entire mob birthday party with one of those.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to do something similar to that, like a
Oh,
big meeting. And I wonder if like Turk's going to be in it because he's been in obviously Daredevil season 1 and Jessica Jones, and in all through that he's sort of gotten away. So I
yeah.
wonder if this is the time where it's like, oh, he's Turk. He's oh, he's dead.
Yeah, I think that's what they have to do. Turk is the Nick Fury. Turk is the one who ties all these shows together. You can't be a good Netflix here without whooping on Turk's ass just a little bit. And yet again, that whole theme of, Daredevil not killing his enemies is brought up again here when Punisher's like, hey, you hit them, they get back up. I hit them, they stay dead.
Yeah, and with that like one sentence, that's like the Punisher in a nutshell,
Yep.
basically.
Also, there was a little bit of Breaking Bad going on where he's like, you Daredevil, I think you're a half measure. And all I could think is that awesome speech from Breaking Bad where the ex-cop guy's like, and you know what I learned that day, Walt? No more half measures. Also, they're fighting on the roof too, and he's got a sniper rifle, which again is very reminiscent of a famous bit from Garth Ennis's Punisher, where where Frank tied Matt up to a pole with some
Yeah.
chains. He's like, I'm gonna shoot him now. Oh, you can stop me, but you gotta kill me. I'm gonna shoot him. Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it? And obviously Daredevil wouldn't do it, but
Yeah, well they've released pictures with Matt tied up on the rooftop with Punisher as well, so
makes me
that could
think.
be happening.
Makes me think they're gonna do that scene where this is Punisher trying to explain his thinking to Matt.
Yeah.
I further like the idea they run with where it's like, hey, the Punisher was created due in part to Matt Murdock running around as Daredevil.
Yeah, well that got me thinking like maybe because at the start of this trailer we actually get to see like Frank Castle's house and like pictures
Yeah.
of his kids and everything. So it
Yeah.
makes me think maybe like one of these gangs or one of these gang members that Matt let get away and not like kill. Maybe one of them is responsible for killing his family, and Frank sort of tracks it back. So like, oh well, if Daredevil didn't let this guy go, then my family wouldn't be dead,
That would be
and maybe
very,
that's
very
why he feels
interesting.
to go after Daredevil. Yeah.
I would be totally cool with that. I'm totally down for all of that. This trailer looks really sick, and what's interesting about it is that it's the first part of two trailers, apparently.
Yeah, we get the next one tomorrow, I think.
I thought they said the 24th, didn't they? Or like the
Oh, okay.
25th.
I don't know. I can't remember.
In a couple weeks, I think. But Daredevil season 2, that's March, right? That's March 18th. We got that.
Yeah, yeah, the week of my birthday. So yeah.
Shit. So I mean, goddamn, we're getting that next month. Can you believe that we're gonna have season 2 of a Daredevil show next month, and we can watch all
I
of
know
it?
with Punisher, and oh, also at the end of this trailer, fucking Elektra
Oh
shows
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah. How did we forget that goddamn Elektra show? If season 2 is gonna have Elektra and it's gonna have the friggin' Punisher in it,
Yeah, oh god damn, it's gonna be so good.
and maybe even Kingpin at some point is gonna come back, even if it's just a cameo.
Yeah, I imagine he'll come back like maybe Frank tries to go after him or
Yeah,
something. I
you
don't know.
you can't not mention the Kingpin.
Yeah, oh yeah, he'll be a big thing about it. Like that'll be like the thing that I think shows that Daredevil's okay. Go like, oh, he put away the Kingpin. You know, he's
Hmm.
a good guy.
Hell, if we use the comics as any sort of, reference, and they clearly have, Kingpin probably hired Elektra to do whatever it is she's doing in New York.
You reckon?
I think that would be the thing. Wouldn't that be interesting? Where her big reveal is like, oh yeah, friggin' Fisk hired me from jail to come and kill you.
Well, remember, like her and Matt have already had a thing since he dated her in
That's
college.
true.
So maybe she's just coming back after, like, seeing like, oh, there's this Daredevil guy running around Hell's Kitchen. Maybe it's Matt.
I like that we're 2 seasons in and we've already got the Punisher and we've already got Electro. Not even so much as like a reference to Bullseye. Get well, slight references, but I love that that's not even a thing where it's like, no, 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 we're gonna work up to Bullseye. Season 3, man, season 3, and maybe not
That'd be
even.
good. That'd be good. Last episode of this season should tease him.
Yeah,
It
he
probably
just
will.
yeah, where he like gets the call where it's like, no, we need you to come to Hell's Kitchen and kill this guy.
Yeah.
Who do you think they would get to play Bullseye in this new thing? Because they made some really interesting casting choices. Like I wouldn't have thought John Berthal for the Punisher until they got him, and then I'm like, yep, yep, that was good casting.
I really don't know. I don't really know a lot about Bullseye, to be honest. So yeah,
Well,
I don't really know.
you would need a guy who has like a quiet intensity about him. Because my favorite Bullseyes are the ones that barely talk.
Yep. Yep.
Who's that guy from that Russian mob movie with Viggo Mortensen? Like his buddy, the weird guy, Vincent Castle, I want to say his name is, but it's not really his name. He's a weird French actor.
I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, he's the one who I lobbied to have as Doctor Doom.
Oh, he'd
I
be
know that one.
perfect.
I know the one you're talking
That's
about.
funny
Yeah, I
you
know the
should
one
say,
you're talking
that's
about.
funny you should say that because in the new Invincible Iron Man, that artist who always is taking reference
Yep.
from actors, guess who he looked like?
Yep. I that's what I said in my review. He looks like Vincent Castell.
He looks like that fucking actor to where I'm like, dude, comic artist, I didn't think of that, but now that you've said it, I really want it because he's weird and foreign, and Doctor Doom is weird and foreign. He'd be friggin' perfect. So yeah, that's the new Daredevil trailer. I think we can all agree, sick as hell. Show can't come quick enough.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Man, that's really gonna put a damper on our work schedules because we're gonna have to put a bunch of time aside just to watch Daredevil.
I'm just gonna binge it.
Yeah,
Binge it.
you usually do. I mean, crap, there's been mornings when I've woke up and you guys have watched it all. Okay, it's a Friday. March 18th is a Friday, so by that time we
Oh,
can have most of our comic work done.
yeah. That means it's a Saturday for me. So yes,
There you go. So you can have all day just for Daredevil.
yes.
And moving on from Marvel to some big DC news. Obviously, we've been talking nonstop about the whole DC reboot initiative. What is it? What could it be? What could we hope from it? Well, Jeff Johns came out today and said that it's not a reboot and that it never was.
Then why is every comic going back to number one then?
So it's not a reboot, it's just a boot. I can't take full credit for that joke. That was Dan Slott. I stole that one from Dan Slott. him uh,
Damn.
him and Gail Simone were kind of busting each other's balls on Twitter in like a funny colleague sort of way, where like Gail Simone fired back and it's like, yeah, that's okay, but Marvel can just continue to do really original ideas like Secret Wars and Secret Invasion and all these other things they've never done before. Basically just saying comics in general rip each other off all the time and there are no real new ideas anymore. But yeah, apparently not a reboot, just a boot. I mean, honestly, I wish if this was the case, why did they even bother calling it Rebirth? Why not just say, yeah, we're doing new
Yeah,
number ones?
yeah. Like Rebirth, just you automatically think like, oh, it's gonna reboot the universe, you know?
You just jump to the conclusion that so things are changing now is what you're saying. But no,
And really they should have said that when they released that image as well. They
hmm
should. It is not a reboot.
yeah, this is not. Yeah, they should have just said that right away. Is what they should have
Yeah.
done. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm an old school comic fan. I've been in this for a long time. I'm used to like
Yep.
renumberings and everything, and just like, okay, we're doing new number ones. And if anything, yeah, it looks like DC is borrowing the new Marvel, template now of every like 2 or 3 years being like, okay, new number ones now and new writing teams.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, Marvel's been like topping that sales game, so yeah.
They've been crushing them the last little bit if you look at the numbers. So yeah, they're like,
Yep.
let's take this good idea.
Yep.
Just kind of ticks me off though, this idea that will never seem to make it to 100 issues anymore now.
No, yeah, it does really annoy me because then you don't. Yeah, it sort of doesn't. It makes like the runs oh, well, I don't need to read that because in 6 months it's just going to reboot it and it's not going to
Yeah.
count.
Ultron was trying to eat you there for a second. You roboted right out, but you came back. It was fine. You fought Ultron off. It's all good.
Okay then.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, and moving on from DC Rebirth, we have another topic which is kind of tied to it. Scott Snyder made it official this week via interviews that Batman number 51 will be his last issue.
Oh, okay then.
I mean, we all knew this was coming. They had basically all but said it. But yeah, 51 will be his final issue.
So does that mean that they're going to get one writer in just for like number 52,
I assume
and
so,
that's it?
and I guess 52 across the board, whatever it is going to be their big rebirth starting point, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely sad to see Snyder go. He's been the most consistent writer of the DC New 52. I mean, I don't think anyone would argue that. To put that into perspective, he's been writing Batman for as long as Matt and I have been doing internet shows and been doing like internet criticism.
That says something. That
Yeah.
says something.
Yeah, just to put that into perspective for you, which are like, goddamn, like 4 going on 5 years on one
Yeah, it's
book.
insane.
It is insanity where it's just like every day when that dude woke up, he's like, okay, what's Batman doing today? Just got to work on Batman and think about Batman. Now, even though that piece turned out to be true, still no confirmation yet on whether or not he's moving over to Detective Comics.
Yeah, so I don't know whether he will be. Yeah, it's.
Although
I think if he did, that'd be cool because he started on Detective Comics and
nice
everything,
little
and
homecoming.
yeah,
I mean, if this portion of the story ended up being true, I don't see why that second part wouldn't also be true.
yeah, I can see it being true, and it'd be good as well because I really like where Detective Comics is at the moment, and where it's just like Batman being a detective,
It's fun
and I hope
mystery stuff.
and I know Snyder can do that, so that'll be really cool to have him back on just like a detective book every month or something.
Totally, because he's totally mystery minded, is the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what? Speaking of which, I'd actually slated this for later down in the news line, but fuck, let's do it now then, because it actually dovetails quite nicely. For the 52nd issues for all these big DC books, they've announced what the new variant theme is going to be for these, number 52 titles. Can you guess what it is, Matt?
I think it might be Batman versus Superman.
No, you wish it was that. It's actually something far sillier.
Oh, really? What?
For their 52nd issues, DC has decided to do new 52 variants for all of their books.
So new 52 variants for their new 52 books.
For their 52nd issue, every new cover will have a redone cover to look like issue 1 of the new 52 run.
I suppose that could be pretty cool.
They're incredibly lazy. Go look at them. They're
Yeah, they just paint overs.
in many cases it looks like they did. And
Oh,
and in even more cases, the ones that don't look painted over actually look considerably worse than the ones that
really?
they're paying homage to. Yes, the
Oh, wow.
the Aquaman one in particular, and the Detective Comics one in particular, where I'm like, oh my god, those were beautiful pieces of art that you've ruined by doing far
Oh,
shittier
wow,
versions.
yeah. I see them. Oh, oh God, that Aquaman one.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck did you do? This was a beautiful piece of art that you ruined.
Aquaman looks so weird.
Yes, he does.
Oh God.
And I mean, I guess some are kind of cute too, where it's like, oh, here's the Gail Simone Batman cover, but with or Batgirl cover, but with Batgirl in her new costume. I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense and everything. My question is, what about characters who didn't have books when the new 52 started, like Black Canary and Midnight, or what the fuck are they gonna do?
Oh, they just gotta get a normal cover.
Yeah, you're just not gonna get one.
They get an issue 1 cover.
Now that being
Like
said,
just Yeah.
Now, I was gonna say I don't hate all of them. The Green Arrow one's actually quite nice because I hated Green Arrow, what he looked like when the New 52 started, and I like that he has the goatee and the hood and everything else again in this new cover. So they're not all bad, but they're like 90% bad.
Yeah, the Action Comics one actually looks really nice. I think that's art by Malik Janin, the guy who does
Ah,
the. Oh wait, no, it's the guy who wrote the Multiversity issue of the Just. I can't remember his
oh.
name, but he's a really nice artist. I really like him.
Some of them got off way better than others, but all I can think is I'm like, really? For your 50-second issues, you're gonna literally jack yourself off and do new 52 variant covers. What a self-congratulatory pat on the back.
It would have been better if they did like something celebrating the characters, like maybe like like recreate the first Action Comics issue 1 cover
Ah,
like from 1938, or
now
the
that's a
first
good
Detective
idea.
Comics issue 27. Although they already did that, so
They've technically already done that. I think
yeah,
just at this point, all the good ideas were taken. I mean, hell, they did a whole bunch of variants this month where it's just like, hey, Neil Adams, recreate some of your most famous covers.
some of them were pretty cool. Some of them were pretty cool.
Some of them were. I thought a lot of them were really good. Actually, I like the one he
Yeah,
did with Batman, which is just a recreation of that Green Lantern Green Arrow cover where it's like, my ward is a
yeah,
junkie.
yeah. That was a pretty good one.
I really enjoyed that one. So yeah, DC New 52 variants for their 50-second issues. Jesus. Never thought we'd make it to there. So, moving away from DC for a second, we got a little bit of movie news, and we alluded to this one already, but it bears repeating. Deadpool breaks R-rated movie records.
It Deadpool. This movie has already made $300 million, and it's not even been out a week.
That's fucking amazing. Here's the thing: I saw it, and again, I'll save a lot of this for our spoiler cast, but I saw it opening night in my small town Canadian theater. Was
Mhm.
more full than when I saw Star Wars opening night. Had a
Wow,
huge,
really?
yeah, I know, right? Had a huge like crossover of young old couples on dates. Uh,
Yeah,
and
yeah. That's the same with mine.
and my crowd fucking clapped at the end. I'm not making that up.
Wow.
They clapped for Deadpool. They haven't clapped for any other Marvel movie. They didn't clap for Star Wars. They didn't clap for any other like, art movie, but they clapped for Deadpool. And I'm like, really, Deadpool, like, don't get me wrong, I like Deadpool, and I'll talk about it more near the tail end of the show. But I'm like, you don't clap for a movie like Philadelphia or Schindler's List or something. You clap for dick jokes? Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's what they want.
I didn't know that's all I needed to do to get claps, is just, talk about dick jokes all. Well, I mean, shit, I mean, I guess that's kind of what we do. So, I mean, I'm
Well,
one to
that's the
talk.
thing. We don't know if our listeners are clapping when the show finishes.
Maybe they
So
do. You're right. Maybe that's something we have no idea, that as soon as the comic multiverse is over, people just clap and go, here, here, good job. Yes.
they're just clapping because they're happy it's over.
Oh, finally the torture is done. I can go and do something else. Is Joel talking about fucking cereal again? God damn it. But yeah, so good on Deadpool. And obviously, with that movie doing so great, there seems to kind of be an arms race now beginning to form for R-rated comic book movies. When this movie broke a bunch of records, suddenly Todd McFarlane came out of the shadows and said, I've completed a script for a new R-rated Spawn movie. Any takers?
That was a audio clip from Todd McFarlane just
From
played just then. So
Todd McFarlane, he's Canadian. I stood under his car and I was sure to take that recording, so you know it's real and legit.
this has me like also like wondering like I wonder if like WB and DC are regretting having Suicide Squad as PG-13
Oh,
now.
they're kicking themselves right now. They are
Yeah,
almost certainly fucking kicking themselves, and I'm sure they're even more pissed because it's Fox who did this.
I know. It's Fox of all the fucking people.
It's like,
Fox.
you mean the guys who put out Fantastic Four last year, motherfucker? I
That's
love.
like another thing that when I saw Deadpool, I'm like bullshit. This was made by the same studio that made Fantastic Four.
doesn't
Bullshit.
doesn't feel that way, does it? To think that like in such a short amount of time they were served one of their greatest failures, what will easily be remembered as one of the greatest superhero movie failures in Fantastic Four, and then just a few short months later to have Deadpool and to have it be such a huge Cinderella success story.
Yeah, and also like Ryan Reynolds at the moment. Like this movie saved his career.
Dude is molten hot again, and you know what? Like there was a time before when you're like, oh, it's got Ryan Reynolds in it, where I'm like, fuck that dude. But now after Deadpool, like as the credits were rolling, I was kind of squirming in my seat, where it's like, oh, okay, Ryan Reynolds, you win. You're cool again. Fine, whatever. It's cool, I guess. We'll hang out sometime, I suppose. Van Wilder deserves a second look, I guess. I'm sorry for saying the best thing you did in years was your speechless role in Ted when you just make up with a dude and punch people. I'm sorry, Ryan Reynolds. I'm sorry, R. Rye, because you know that's your name, R. Rye.
All right.
R. Rye. He's down with the R. Rye. And you know another movie I'm hearing rumblings about now is that apparently I don't know if it's Sony or Sony Marvel together, but they're like, hey, you know that Venom movie we've been talking about forever?
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe now is time. Which
Really, Venom? I would have thought they would have gone with Carnage because he seems more of like an R-rated villain, because of his, Cletus Cassidy being the serial killer and
redneck
everything.
serial killer who friggin' murders people. Heck, Carnage could be funny too if you spin it the right way by just
Yeah.
having him be friggin' Deliverance.
But then that also comes to the thing that like James Gunn was saying about this film, where it's like now every R-rated film's gonna try to do that thing where it's
Yep.
funny and
Yep.
like got like 80s music and everything to
Mm-hmm.
it now,
Mm-hmm.
like he said, like Guardians did and everything, and that then suddenly all these movies and now Deadpool's doing it and more movies want to do it now. So yeah,
Which
that's the
therein
thing.
which therein lies the biggest problem. Deadpool worked because the character of Deadpool is the way he is. Not every movie can be Deadpool, and not every movie should try to be Deadpool.
Exactly. And that's going to be the problem now with all these studios wanting to do like R-rated comic book movies. They're going to say, "Oh, just make it like Deadpool."
And you know, and we see this happen every time. Like after Batman 89, every superhero movie that came out was like, okay, we'll make it like that. And then X-Men, it was like, okay, make it like that. And then Spider-Man and shit, even they were guilty of doing this, where it's like, well, just make it like Spider-Man. Just make it like the Raimi Spider-Man.
Yep.
Until eventually we get up to the point where you get shit like Green Hornet, where it's like, well, just make it like Iron Man.
Mhm. Yep.
And I can't believe that we're going to be entering a period of time where it's like, no, just make it like Deadpool.
I know it's crazy. It's insane.
Things are weirdly circular. And of course, with this too, everyone's thinking, so Deadpool did good and was R-rated. Does that mean X-Force is going to be R-rated now? I guess it kind of has to be, doesn't it?
That'd be pretty cool, like an R-rated with Wolverine in it. That'd be pretty
that
cool.
oh, that's the other thing too, where I heard people saying, and I could not agree more. Because Deadpool made a bunch of money and was critically acclaimed at R, for the love of sweet Mary fuck, when it comes time to make your last Wolverine movie with Hugh Jackman, please, please, please make that one R so we can cut motherfuckers like he's always been meant to, but never has.
Yeah, that like goes back to what I was saying before. Make it R-rated, but make it different. Don't
Yeah,
make it exactly like how Deadpool. Like, don't make him like quipping and everything when he slices a guy's arm off or something. Just have it brutal, like the Raid.
yeah,
Make it like the Raid.
exactly. Now that being said, by all means, let Wolverine wear the costume and be
Oh
R-rated.
God, yes. Oh God, yes.
Imagine that for the last one where it's like, it's his last mission, it's his final ride. Wolverine, oh yeah, and he's wearing the costume this time.
Uh, that'd be great.
Just Wolverine running around, it's like, why don't I wear this more often, bub? This feels good. I really like how it hugs my ass, bub. But or no, it would be really messed up if they did that, but they did the Old Man Logan storyline, which is a storyline famous because he doesn't really wear the costume at all in that, except for flashbacks.
Yeah, that'd be really weird.
Where it's like, oh, come on, he wears it now at the end, the one time when he probably shouldn't be wearing it, dude.
Everything's back to front.
Yeah, really. And moving on from movie news that makes us happy to movie news that's gonna make us slap our head and go, why? Hey Matt, you know them Transformers movies?
Unfortunately, yes.
They sure do make lots of money, don't they?
Yeah, I guess they do.
You know what this franchise really needs, though? You know,
What?
for a franchise that can barely concentrate on the robots that it has, what we need is spin-off movies, and the first one's going to be Bumblebee for 2018.
Why? We kind of like know who Bumblebee is, so like,
Yeah, that's the
Why?
thing where it's like after like 4 to 5 fucking movies, if you don't know who Bumblebee is by now, why does
And
he?
it's not as though he was like a background character either. He was pretty much like
He was the
the
main
main
one.
transformer next to Optimus Prime.
Yeah, I mean, in a movie franchise filled with underutilized robots, he was kind of the main one.
Yeah, and he looked different because he was yellow, so you could tell him apart from all the other things that were moving around.
I know, right? What a friggin' idea! Where it's like, really, you haven't milked the Transformers franchise enough that you need to start milking the robots individually? Really?
But see, that's the thing that's like one of the like the byproducts of the Marvel Cinematic Universe being as successful as it was. Everyone now wants to have a universe. There's
Mm-hmm.
like Transformers. There's obviously all like the Fox and everything doing their own. There's going to be a Ghostbusters universe. Like yeah, they kind of missed the point on the whole universe thing. It's not the universe that makes all the money. It's the characters and the stories and
Yeah,
everything.
and also you can't build your universe after the fact is the thing too.
Yeah. I know, like 5 or 6 movies in, like, oh yeah, well, there's all these things happening at the same time.
Silly, just silly. But you know what? What I say doesn't matter because it's still gonna make fucking money hand over fist.
Oh God, yeah, in China it'll make like $1 billion or
Because
something.
for some reason, the Transformer movies just hit that magic sweet spot of making billions of dollars every time.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, eh? Like, I haven't seen any of them in cinema since the first one, and like people like flock to them like, oh, it made $200 million in a weekend, and it's almost at $1 billion after 4 weeks or something, you
I,
know.
I mean, I could be a real asshole. I could be a real pretentious d-bag and be like, oh well, people like this because this is the cinematic equivalent of McDonald's. It's not good for you, but it's cheap, disposable, and tasty, and people will line up and eat it every time.
That's what it is, I think. They're just big explosions and shit blowing up and everything, and
Now that being
yeah,
said, sometimes you just want a quarter pounder though, is the thing. It's like
yeah,
don't
yeah,
judge me. Don't judge me. And that's what the Transformers franchise is. It's a big sloppy undercooked quarter pounder
yep.
without the cheese. It's like just once, just give me some cheese, man. It's just all I want. Is that too much to ask? And well, we're still on a movie kick here. Obviously, we talked about Daredevil at the top of the show, but there was more trailers that came out this week too. There was the final Batman v Superman trailer, which I actually had attached to my Deadpool showing, which was nice.
Really?
Yeah.
I got the old one.
Oh, we got the new one with Batman. Basically, this new trailer is just Batman whooping ass for 2 minutes.
Yeah, that Batman part at the start where he goes into that warehouse, that was pretty cool.
That
So
was sick.
I had no worries about Snyder doing Batman
No, no.
like justice because it's Batman. They
That's
can't afford him to
that's
be bad.
clearly the
So
whole reason he's taken this project, it seems, and that
yeah,
becomes clearer and clearer just so he can do Batman.
yeah. Even though like when he was doing Man of Steel, he said like Superman's his favorite character, and then when
You
he did
lie.
Batman, Batman versus Superman press, he said Batman's his favorite
You
character.
lie, sir, and we all know it. And not only does
Uh,
Snyder just want to do Batman, but he wants to do a very specific sort of Batman. He wants to do the angry, paranoid, D-bag version of Batman from Dark Knight Returns. And it's so clear that's what he's
yep,
doing.
yep,
From
yep.
the signal to his choice in bat symbols to the robot suit to even that clip when Batman comes out of the floor, when he like bursts out of the friggin' floor like the goddamn Kool-Aid man and starts whipping ass. I'm just like, yep, that's Dark Knight Returns Batman right there.
Yeah, yeah,
And then,
and they've gone on record though to say that they didn't use any of that as reference, and
oh,
it's
come
kind of
on.
obvious that they did.
Again, this goes back to I didn't change the canon.
Oh fuck! God damn it!
You know, man, if Zack Snyder was Pinocchio, his nose would be so huge right now from all the lies.
But the Batman stuff looks really cool.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't get is like, why is this old guy who's in a bat suit able to like throw these 200-pound guys across a room and like explode lumber piles and stuff.
They even make a
Like,
point of saying that too.
is he Superman?
They even make a point of saying that in the trailer too, where Alfred's like, "I'm getting old, Alfred." I'm like, really? This is the first time we're seeing
Yeah.
our new Batman, and he's already old and tired and over being Batman. Seriously?
That makes me think like by the time like Justice League Part 2 rolls around, he's just gonna be like he's got his A-frame, and he's like, "I'm coming, guys, I'm
He's got
coming."
his Bat
Oh,
Walker.
I had a heart attack.
Batman in his Bat Walker. I'm a coming, you damn dark side kids, get off my lawn.
Yeah, well, they just got to transition him over to bloody Kingdom Come Batman, where he's in like that weird like neck brace sort of thing.
Yep. They kind of already did that in Future's End too, lest we forget, where he's basically Darth Vader Batman, where he's more machine than man.
Yeah.
But you know, someone's got to punch them damn criminals in the face.
Yep.
Like literally that whole 2-minute trailer is like, and punching and punching and explosions and punching and punching.
Yeah, and the trailer also felt like a response to the last trailer, which like
Yes.
gave away the fact that Batman and Superman aren't going to be fighting for the whole movie. They're probably going to be fighting for probably 20 minutes of the whole movie. And B, Lex Luthor isn't the main villain.
Yeah.
And C, Doomsday's in the movie.
Yeah, this one did kind of take it back. Where it's like, no, they're going to be fighting. You know, their battle is the backbone of the movie, we promise. And Lex Luthor is going to have stuff to do. And also, here's Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Notice we haven't seen a lot of Lex Luthor.
No, not really.
Like, besides that really cringe-inducing moment in the first trailer.
And that weird plane commercial.
Oh, God, that was so weird.
What the fuck?
It was so weird. Like, why would Lex Luthor do that?
Because Lex Luthor likes
like,
planes.
Fuck you, Turkish Airlines, I'm above this.
Yeah,
I'll buy you out.
Yeah, I will buy Turkish Airlines and then rub it against my nuts.
The one thing, because there was like the Lex Luthor one and there was a Bruce Wayne one. I was thinking, why aren't these guys flying around on private jets?
Yeah, you would think they'd be able to afford it.
Why are they taking commercial airlines?
Yeah, why are they taking weird Turkish airlines?
Yeah. Why isn't there like a Wayne Airlines or a Lex Airlines or something?
Well, look, you take the Turkish Airlines and you get a Turkish bath and a Turkish delight. So obviously they're the best airline.
Bruce Wayne just goes on there to fuck all the air hostesses.
Pretty much that's why. And then Turkish Delight and Turkish Bath. If you would like to send me or Matt some Turkish Delight, please do. Because we enjoy that sort of thing. But again, we make fun, but overall, at least I feel confident moving forward with this movie, where it's like, well, at least the Batman stuff will be fun.
Yeah, that's pretty much all. But I don't know. We still haven't seen a lot of Superman stuff, and I know the Superman stuff's going to be wrong.
Yeah. We've basically just been like, take the bitter with the sweet on this one.
Yeah, it's basically just going to be a Batman movie.
Just, squint your eyes.
It's plainly obvious.
And you know what? And, like, let me dig out my crystal ball and look into the future right now. When the movie comes out and everyone's like, well, this had problems and this had problems, but Batman was awesome, and everyone's just raving about Batman, don't be shocked when they fast-tracked a solo Batman movie.
Oh, yeah, that'll probably, like... Because there is rumors going around that it's not testing well, and if it doesn't like do well critically and everything, they'll reschedule everything. I could see them going like, well, people really like the Batman stuff, so we're going to push Justice League and we're going to bring in Batman. And then maybe because Henry Cavill's doing stuff with Justice League, he can show up in, Batman, because, the cities are 10 miles apart or
They're
something.
sister cities now, apparently. Which, as a comic fan, that just makes you scratch your head, right?
Oh, God. Don't get me started about that. It does. It makes me think, why isn't Superman looking after both cities?
He's only like this demigod. Well, he's only this god of a man who can fly everywhere.
Yeah, and everywhere fast.
But apparently he can't just, look in on that other city.
Nah.
And,
it's scary over there.
Yeah. There's killer clowns over there and plant ladies.
So someone approached him to try and sell him crack.
And poor Smallville was just like, not here, sorry, Can't come over here anymore. Some guy in the subway accosted him and said, hey, follow me this way to buy pirated DVDs and games.
He saw someone's balls on the subway.
And Superman was like, never again. Gotham, not even once.
There's a man pooping in a cardboard box down there. I'm not going anywhere near that city.
Yeah, Superman's like, I ain't gonna save any of these people, not today. Y'all need Jesus in your life, Gotham. Y'all need Rao in your life.
Row, yeah, he needs to come cleanse the city.
Yeah, really, jeez. And from one Dark Knight Returns inspired topic to another, hey Matt, guess what? The Dark Knight Returns 3 Master Race has been delayed.
Ah, surprise.
Yeah, I'm not shocked that
Did we not say that this might happen?
we
Did we not
did.
like sort of say this might happen?
We did. We really did. And it's funny. They had the first two issues, and they were all gung ho about. They're like, "Yeah, Dark Knight Returns Master Race. This'll help us balance our books. It's a huge event, everybody." And now the third issue has been pushed back, and because the third issue has been pushed back, the special tie-ins that they wanted to do have also been pushed back. Which
Uh,
honestly, at this point, it's like, has this book been on anyone else's radar since they just kind of dropped off after the first two issues?
yeah, no, well, that was like when just before it's coming out, everyone was talking about it, and then the first issue came out, and everyone talked about it for about a week, and then like no one talks about it.
Yeah,
Everyone's like, yeah, that happened.
it's
That
like
was a thing.
I assumed when they were coming out with it, I assumed it was already done, was the thing for this like series.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know they were still working on it. I mean, I thought that was the whole point of bringing in Brian Azzarello and everyone to make sure that it was done before they started releasing it.
Maybe Frank Miller just got like out of hand and like, oh, we need to get rid of all these notes for issue 3 and start again.
They had to get the squirt bottle out and be like, "Down, Frank, down."
Yeah.
It's like, "Uh-oh, he's up in the ceiling again. He's up in the crawl space. What do we do? Quick, Jeff Johns, go get the stick."
Yeah, get the broom with the coat hanger on the end.
Frank Miller's lodged himself in the crawl space, and now Brian Azzarello can't do any work. Brian calls up the head office like, "Well, I keep trying to do work, but Frank Miller keeps making noise in the crawl space. It's really distressing." Man, I love this alternate continuity we've imagined where all comic writers are crazy prima donnas. Speaking of Jeff Johns, I read Harley's Little Black Book this week, and there's a hilarious moment where a Green Lantern ring goes up for sale on eBay, and Harley really wants to buy it, and the person she's bidding against is Jeff Johns.
Nice, that's cool.
And Jeff Johns like, "Okay, fine, you want to go up to 5K? We'll go up to 5K. Oh my god, I can't believe I bought a Green Lantern ring for $5,000. My wife is gonna kill me." And he's sitting there wearing his Green Lantern hat. And he's like, "Fine, I never lost an auction while I'm wearing my lucky Green Lantern shirt." And that was a true story, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Jeff Johns just every day on eBay. Do they have real Green Lantern rings yet? No, damn it.
There's a lot of Green Lantern movie rings on here. I wonder why.
I don't want any of those. Even though my name's on the movie and the original Green Lantern creators isn't. But yeah, so Dark Knight 3 delayed, unfortunate, but I'm sure it'll come out at some point. I imagine they don't want another All-Star Batman and Robin on their hands where the final issues just never come out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if this just tapered off and never came out?
Well, I could see them like doing it like there's been like delays and everything, and they say, oh, just release the rest in like a trade paperback.
Oh, jeez.
I could see them doing that and trying to get their sales up.
Mm-hmm. And from a Batman-related topic to a Superman-related topic, and you know what? I'm pretty much going to let you take point on this one, Matt, because a lot of this confused me, and that is they've announced Peter J. Tomasi, who will almost certainly be taking over the Superman book now as of with this news, is going to be writing the next big Superman event, and it's called Superman Super League.
I know, it sounds really cool. It's going to be over all the Superman books plus Superman and Batman
Right.
and Superman Wonder Woman. And it's pretty much about Superman going in and getting like this team of like Kryptonians and Batman and Wonder Woman to fight this unknowable, unseeable villain that we'll see in Superman Batman issue 30, I think.
Right.
And I think it might be the Kryptonian found in Superman Batman issue
Oh,
29.
yeah, the weird Beardo guy.
Yeah, Alan Moore, yeah.
He finds
Um,
Alan Moore attached to a machine where they're using him to power their weaponry, yes.
And but what was really cool is that a lot of people sort of expected that this to be related to the Superman Lois and Clark book sort of thing, and they took that off, and then now they've put it back in, saying that he
Mm.
will meet them, but he's meeting him in a different issue, I think. Now he
Uh-huh.
originally was meeting him in like the next Action Comics issue, but now they've pushed it back.
Right.
But it sounds pretty cool. I'm pretty intrigued to see what it like how it works out and everything, and we don't know the whole deal with this Lois and Clark Superman, so I don't know whether he'll stick around or what's going to happen with him.
What they would even say to each other and how they would continue business as usual, knowing that there's a more powerful, more experienced Superman existing in the same world.
Yeah, well, me and Tom were talking about it, and we were sort of theorizing, like, hey, what if like the New 52 Superman dies, and this Superman sort of assumes his place?
I don't think they would do that, but it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, and, or like the Superman could like go off and head the supposed JSA team
Oh, now that I would like because it's like an
because older hero and everything. And,
old school
yeah,
Superman on an old school team. Now there's an idea. There's a pitch it right there is what that is.
yeah, but no, Dan DiDio, he'll kill him off.
No, he's
And be
like
like,
no.
no, the old pre-Flashpoint universe is dead.
Yeah, totally. Even though it's not, because apparently after Convergence, every timeline and every world exists now.
Yeah, it's still alive because like people like Parallax are coming through.
Yeah. To which again, Dan DiDio would surely be like, "Shut up."
Again,
D-
I'm gonna go. I'll kill Nightwing again. I swear, I'll kill him again.
yeah, if I don't get my way, I'll kill him for real this time. And then Dan DiDio took his belt off and said, "Come at me, bros." And no one wanted to come at him. Oh no, DiDio's got his belt off again. What do we do? I also like our alternate continuity where Dan DiDio is just this power mad tyrant who takes his belt off and challenges people to wrestling matches.
Yeah, and it has an unknowable hatred for Nightwing for some reason.
For some reason. God damn it, Nightwing can't be old. Because, if he's old enough to be, an adult and have his own adventures, that means Batman's really old. And I grew up reading Batman, so that must mean I'm ancient. It's like Nightwing just becomes this conduit for all these things that are not his fault. Fuck you for growing up, Dick Grayson. How dare you? My own life's slipping away, and it's all your goddamn fault, you and that sweet ass of yours. That everybody seems to love.
uh, Maybe he was hurt by Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson left him like in the morning, like one night stand.
And he's just like, never again. Never will I let you hurt me again, Dick Grayson. Not if I can help it. So yeah, that pretty much concludes the news for this week. And man, that was a smattering, that was a cornucopia of super topics, wasn't it? Here on the comic multiverse.
Yeah, we had a lot of news this week.
We did lots of good stuff to talk about, and with that, I guess we can transition into part deux of the show, and that is our big spoiler talk of Deadpool. We've both seen the movie now. I imagine we both have a lot to think. We have our reviews up. You, of course, can see mine here on Cape Joel, and you can see Matt's over on.
Fortress of Solitude.
So go do it if you haven't already. But keep listening to the show, though. You can do both. Multitask. I do it. So yeah, obviously I did my own review. I'll let you go first, Matt. What sticks out to you most about this movie?
Uh Everything.
It's kind of the little movie that could, didn't it? Because the trailers got our hopes up really high, and we're like, man, this is so super cool. But this is Fox though, so I'm sure they'll find a way to fuck it up.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I was kind of worried about. I was kind of worried, oh, it's Fox, so they got to like push like all this like really random stuff that has nothing to do with the character, and they're going to change the character really drastically and whatnot. But it looks fine on the trailers. It looks good on the trailers, but the movie might be different in the end. But yeah, it was really good. It was really. I'm not really a big Deadpool fan. I haven't. I'm not really too familiar with the character. I know about his origin and
Mm.
everything, but that's pretty much as far as my knowledge goes on him. And I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really great.
It's funny. I had a weird experience going to see the movie myself because obviously the week it came out, we had that new Deadpool miniseries, Mercs for Money. We had Deadpool #7, which came out this week also, and that was the big like 25th anniversary issue.
Yep.
So by the time I was done all my work and ready to go see the movie, I'm like, man, I'm kind of like burned out on Deadpool right now. This movie's gonna have to try that much harder. And shockingly, the movie succeeds in ways that I was not even thinking. Like it tells a romance story that actually really works and actually ends up being the grounding backbone of what is otherwise a silly Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah, it was like like a realistic romance story.
It's
It wasn't
probably
that.
one of the most down to earth and relatable Deadpool stories ever told.
Yeah, yeah.
And holy shit, the soundtrack on that one, friggin', but Morning Angel in the opening credits. I'm like, what? Are they really using
That,
this song?
th those opening credits were like one of my favorite parts of the movie. How they had like how like most movies have like Paramount Pictures
Mm-hmm.
presents. They had that, and it had like like oh, what was one of them? It was like some asshole in a suit or something, and
Starring God's favorite idiot, a hot chick,
yeah,
and a
yeah,
British villain.
you're written by some overpaid asshole or something,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was great.
This movie is such a comedy that even the opening credits are one giant joke.
Yeah, and it was all over like this big freeze frame of the big car chase we've seen in the
Mm-hmm.
trailers,
Yep.
and oh, it was great. It
Friggin'
was so
coffee
great.
cup from Rob L. Liefeld just shows up in the movie. He's there at the end of the bar. Hey, Rob.
Yeah, yeah, and then the digs at the Green Lantern, like 30 seconds in, there's like this. I couldn't really make it out whether it was like a gum packet or like a condom wrapper or something, and it was like a Green Lantern guy like dressed like a Green Lantern on it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There was that. There was like that Time magazine cover, like "Sexiest Man" for Ryan Reynolds,
Yeah,
and then they do the same thing with Wolverine and Hugh
yeah,
Jackman.
yeah, that was great.
Deadpool breaks the wall and acknowledges that Wolverine is played by an Australian man.
Yeah, and that Fox's continuity is fucked.
That's the best. That was one of my favorites. Was like, we're taking you to see the professor. Who? Stewart or McAvoy? Goddamn, X-Men timelines are complicated.
Yeah, and Colossus in this was great as well.
Colossus, the best he's ever been in anything. Well,
I
not in
don't,
anything, but the best he's ever been in the movies.
it got me thinking like they did Colossus so right when they completely messed up Cyclops in what like 4 or 5 movies he's been
Yep.
in. So and they got him right in one movie. Like, oh my god.
What's interesting about Colossus is that you might believe that because of the trailers he's in more of the movie. Fact is he's in this movie about as much as he is in the other X-Men movies. The only difference is here he actually serves a purpose.
And he talks.
Yes, and he talks, and he's Russian, as he should be. I know I left the theater with somewhere it's like, was Colossus always Russian? I'm like, yes, Colossus was always Russian. The other movies just didn't care.
Yeah, and oh, it was so great. The villain as well is like, yeah, I like that they poke fun at that he's a British villain.
Yeah, because in every movie now, the villain is played by a Brit. No matter what
Yep.
you're doing, it's always a Brit. Also, too, I actually thought the real revelation was Negasonic Teenage Warhead, because here's a character who is the lone millennial voice in a movie that is one giant, 90s spank fest. So here's a character who gets Deadpool, but is not entertained by Deadpool.
Yeah, yeah, kind of tired of his shit,
Yeah,
basically.
which I think, wow, what a ballsy move that in a comedy that makes fun of everything else, it's also not afraid to make fun of Deadpool and go, no, you're actually kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's great. It's really great.
Dude, Ryan Reynolds makes fun of himself, where he's like, do you think Ryan Reynolds could get to where he is today without his good looks? Do you think he got by solely on acting ability? Also, geez, hey, let's talk about this. So, Deadpool, the first superhero to ever get pegged in a movie. Yeah, that's a milestone. Hey, Superman, hey, Spider-Man, when are you guys gonna get pegged in a movie? Huh? That's a first that Deadpool owns. When are the rest of you gonna up your game, guys? Come on.
Yeah. Grow some balls and get pegged.
And for all of our younger fans out there who don't know what pegging is, don't Google it. or at least,
Yeah.
or at
Your
least,
parents won't be happy.
yeah, or at least if you do, make sure no one else is around when you do it.
You use incognito mode on Google Chrome.
And that's one of those jokes too, where I'm like, wow, here's a joke that kids might not get, or even certain people in the audience might not get, and that makes it funnier.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, it's an R-rated movie, so there wouldn't. And I know in like my showing there was no kids.
Uh,
Though
th-
in saying that, I went on 11:30 on a Thursday,
there you
so
go. There was a couple kids in my Friday theater, but they were older-ish kids who looked like they had cool parents who brought them anyway, and it looked like the parents wanted to see it too.
yeah, and that's like another thing. It's not just like kids who are going to see it. I know I know in mine there was like older people. Like
Yeah.
in the row in front of me there was like a group of old people.
Yeah, I know. Same with
Like
mine. I was shocked.
like
And
holy shit.
a lot of couples on dates for Valentine's Day, which blew me away too. And yet, I imagine they wouldn't have left disappointed because the romantic side plot is the backbone of the movie.
Yeah, and all the girls are there to see Ryan Reynolds. They just
And
probably didn't expect him to look like a burn victim.
yeah, for 90% of the movie. I mean, look, he does the standard superhero thing where he stands up with his shirt off and everything, but after that, he gets cancer.
Yep.
He gets the cancer. And just I
Uh,
mean, just so many jokes and references. Stan Lee shows up, which is surprising.
oh, his cameo was so good. A strip club DJ.
Works for me. See, I didn't think Stan Lee was going to show up for a couple of reasons. One, he didn't invent Deadpool, so I didn't expect to see him. And also, he sat out the Floptastic 4, so I didn't think we'd see him either. He was soured on Fox or not, but nope, Stan Lee was there.
I like to think Ryan Reynolds went to him and just said, "Hey, come be in our movie," you
I
know.
I believe that actually. I totally believe that.
Yeah, but, it was great, and it was directed by a guy who hasn't actually directed anything yet, but he does own Blur Studios, which is this big VFX company that does like cinematics for video games and movies and stuff. So he knows how to like choreograph like fights and everything, and it shows.
And
It
you, well,
shows.
it's funny. I'm glad you mentioned the action scene because obviously that big freeway chase that everyone has seen, the one that's been in every trailer, that's the first action scene in the movie. Like that literally happens in the first 5 minutes. I don't think they top it through the rest of the movie. Like I think that was so good. Where I'm like, ooh, you peaked really early, guys.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, they have like an end fight where it's Jackson, what, and Deadpool fighting
And
on
it's
the
okay, but it
helicarrier.
has nothing on that opening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They fight on a helicarrier.
Well, they don't call it a helicarrier, but it's a freaking helicarrier.
That's what I was kind of disappointed like, and I said that in my review. I'm kind of disappointed they like that like Deadpool didn't stop and like, and here we fight on the helicarrier that crashed in Winter Soldier, but we can't say that because of rights.
Yeah, really. And yet
Like I was kind of hoping for that, but yeah, it
they,
didn't
they do a
happen.
Bob Agent of Hydra joke, which obviously they
Yeah,
can't mention
yeah, that
Hydra.
really surprised me when he just like turned to the guy and was like, "Hey, it's Bob," and I'm like, "Holy shit, they did Bob."
You see, there's a joke that in my theater separated the nerds from the non-nerds because I had a good chuckle at that, and no one else did, and yet they kind of looked around like, oh, I guess that's a reference just for them, I guess.
Yeah, that was really nice because it was a reference for the fans. They didn't stop and say, "Hey, this is Bob from such and such."
Yeah.
They just said, "Hey, it's Bob."
It's funny too to
And
have a character like Deadpool who breaks the fourth wall so much in the movie, and yet he doesn't break it at the important moments. That's the moments when it comes to hating the villain, and the moments when it comes to loving the girl. So it's interesting to see that even though they had such an anarchistic type of character, that they actually picked their moments for the fourth wall breaking. They weren't doing it 24/7.
yeah, and that's good because I think if they did it 24/7, it would kind of wear on you. You get like maybe like half an hour into the movie, you'd be like, "Okay, we get it. He breaks the fourth wall and everything."
I think like even though there is like a bunch of crazy comedy stuff, it's the moments of restraint in this Deadpool movie that actually get me.
Yeah, yeah.
Like shocking moments of restraint when it comes to Deadpool. I like the T.J. Miller as Weasel, where it's like, I'd like to come with you, Deadpool, but I don't want to.
Yeah, TJ Miller's like he's one of those actors like I've seen in a couple of movies and thought he was okay, but only in like the last like 2 years since he's been on like Silicon Valley and not like this now, he's become really good. He's a really good comedic actor. I
He
really like
he
him.
is a hard working sidekick in this one. That's a hard working role. And again, too, I think a lot of the jokes in this movie, really, I think the funniest ones, I would not be surprised at all if they weren't in the script, but were just born out of Ryan Reynolds riffing as Deadpool.
Yeah, well, like they've said in interviews, like that bar scene when Weasel finds out like his cancer face for the first time.
You are
Ryan
haunted.
Reynolds, yeah, Ryan Reynolds said that like that went on longer, but they had to cut it down because it started getting a bit too offensive. Like they just kept riffing on each other and everything, and it
God,
kind of got a bit out of
I
hand.
want to see the DVD. I want to see the cut material from this.
And Reynolds has said that the DVD is going to be like have like an hour-long gag reel or something.
Oh, that's gonna be special. That's gonna be special
Yeah,
good.
this will be the first Fox film I will buy on Blu-ray.
Yeah, yeah, same here. Same here. I totally want to see all that shit. What else can we mention here? 'Cause there was a
Um,
lot in here.
they I mentioned it in my review, but they use his healing factor in a really, really cool way. It's not like the Wolverine one where he just like heals back instantly. It takes
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. Like when he's trying to get away from Colossus and he punches Colossus a bunch of
And his
times and
arms
breaks all his
break,
arms and legs, and it takes a little bit for it to sort of work, and then he cuts off his hand, so
and
it
he gets
takes
a
like
gross baby hand.
yeah, yeah, it takes like a year, not a year, a day to sort of grow back.
Hey, look,
And
somewhere
yeah,
in the house I hid 16 grams of cocaine and the cure for blindness. Have fun.
what's his blind roommate's name again?
Al.
Al. I like I like how he makes Al put together IKEA furniture.
Because she's blind.
That's great. They get into this big spiel about which
About IKEA furniture.
IKEA furniture is better. Which one's better?
That's amazing. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know anything they're saying, but they probably researched that pretty good.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or it's just Ryan Reynolds just saying random Norwegian
Words.
sounds.
Also, shit, between Deadpool's perfect costume and Negasonic Teenage Warhead's, black and yellow X-Men costume, are these the best costumes any X-Men movie has ever had? I want to say yes.
Yes, and the fact that Colossus looked exactly like Colossus.
Yeah.
He
This
wasn't some skinny dude. He was like an actual built guy. Problem is, he stayed as Colossus the whole movie. Like when he was in the X Mansion, just like eating breakfast, he was Colossus. That was kind of weird.
I love
It's
that
kind of
too.
weird.
Friggin' Colossus being the voice of kinder, gentler superhero movies, being like, "Nah, breakfast is most important meal of day, and do your homework and get 8 hours of sleep." I like they
Yeah.
make him that guy.
Yeah, and it's funny because like when Deadpool turns up to the Xavier Mansion for their help, he's like, "You're the only two here because these are the only two the studio could get, aren't you?" I thought that was brilliant.
He's like, "Yeah, it's such a big house, but there's only two of you. What's up with that?" Or
Yeah,
the
yeah. Why do you live in this big house that gets destroyed every couple of years?
That's a funny joke. And you know what? Like the jokes that they have at the expense of the bigger X-Men stuff, like again, why they can only afford two of you, Patrick or Stewart, the mansion getting destroyed. Those jokes are so funny and so cutting. I would not be surprised if that actually hurts people's enjoyment of X-Men Apocalypse when it happens.
Yeah, that's the thing. That they kind of shot themselves in the foot because we've got this movie which is literally comic to screen,
Yeah.
and now we've got like coming up, we've got like an Age of Apocalypse type adaptation, and it's looking a little bit, yeah,
Another Bryan Singer, we're back to armor and black leather because I said so.
yeah. I can imagine people saying, "Well, it's no Deadpool."
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion now, I think. Even if it's really good, people are going to be like, yeah, but it was no Deadpool, though.
When does Apocalypse come out? May
After,
or June or something?
friggin' after Batman v Superman for certain.
Yeah, so I'd say like May, June. What do you think? Maybe they go back and reshoot some stuff.
I would not be surprised. They have time. Well, people are already saying now,
Yeah,
will Deadpool cameo in X-Men Apocalypse now?
yeah, that's the thing. They could always just get him back in, like insert him into a scene, like, "Hey guys, what's going?" Although they can't because it's a different time.
Yes. Oh,
Because
May.
Apocalypse takes place in what, the 80s, whereas
Yeah.
Deadpool's, I guess, modern.
Yeah, it's May, and also too. Hey, you say that, but they never did exactly say what year Deadpool took place in, and also Deadpool has been known for doing a lot of time traveling with his buddy Cable.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say like Deadpool had like smartphones and stuff like that, and I
Oh
don't think
yeah,
there's
shit. I guess he
smartphones
did.
in Apocalypse. But yeah, as you said, like Cable could just like him and Cable could just like turn up randomly somewhere.
I wonder where they're gonna go with the Deadpool franchise, and I say this only because Deadpool had a like happy final ending where it's like, well, what do you do now? He got the girl, he lived happily ever after. What are you gonna do?
I like they think they'll follow on from that what he said in the Ferris Bueller post credit scene, where you say like, "Oh, Cable's coming into the next movie and everything, and it's going to be time travel and stuff." I think they just go that route. Like, we've already told you what the movie's going to be about, guys.
Just Deadpool
They
fucking
just
up
sort of play
history.
that up.
Just like Deadpool going back to World War II and
Yeah.
punking Hitler.
Oh, that'd be great. The only problem is now that like Fox has seen like, and Fox is the people that they didn't want to make this movie.
No, they
Ryan
didn't.
Reynolds had to like beg, on his knees to get this made, and even then, the day before they started shooting, he had to cut like $7 million out of the budget.
Yeah, they made
So
this
they
for
were
a
making this on like,
fraction.
yeah, like all these other big movies making like $200 million movies. This made it. How much was this made? This was like a $40 million movie or something. It
Something
was
like
really
that.
low. I know that.
They made
But
it. They made it
I
for a
just hope that the
pittance.
studio doesn't get involved. Yeah, I just hope the studio doesn't sort of try and take control. Like, oh, this makes us a lot of money, so we need to, be in charge of this,
My
and sort
worst
of
case
try and.
scenario, and I'm sure you've thought of it too. Fox going in, wow, that R-rated movie we took a gamble on made a lot of money. Oh, but imagine how much more money we could have made if it was PG-13 and everyone could have come and seen
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
fear that. I fear that for the sequel that's what they're thinking right now. Because that's just Hollywood and studio types in general. They can never be happy for the successes they have. They can only imagine how much they lost out on.
yeah. Well, I'd like to think that like if they did that and like they said like it's going to be PG-13, Ryan Reynolds would go fuck you guys and just leave.
I think because they're not quite sure what X-Force should be. Look, the next Deadpool movie should literally just be Deadpool and X-Force is what it should be. Keep it R-rated and let the Deadpool X-Force stuff be the R-rated arm of your X-Men franchise.
Yeah, just have like the Max imprint sort of thing. Have that as like the separate of the Fox universe.
And also, too,
Huh.
joining Deadpool up with more serious characters gives him a chance to play off, guys in like a straight man, comedy man sort of way, and also, not let his shit get stale.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's why I think they're going to introduce Cable
Yeah, so they
as
can
sort of like the straight guy, and to yeah.
they can do the good cop bad cop thing. Hell, the rumors shooting around now is that they might want Steve Lang, the evil general guy from Avatar.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the dude. I'm like, yep, that's perfect. He looks exactly like him. Yep, he is Cable. Just give him a robot eye and give him an arm, and there you go.
Yep.
And you know what? If they
You
have
think? Do
Cable,
you think they'll do like the thing like, "Hey, guy, you're Cyclops' son from the future"?
oh, I hope they do, cause like friggin' Cable has such a ridiculously complicated origin story and history. I would love to have Deadpool just make fun of it. It was like, hey, here's my buddy Cable. All you need to know is he's Cyclops and Jean Grey's son from the future.
Yeah, that's all you need to know, guys.
Try not to dig any deeper or else your head will explode. Or ask the kindly, sweaty nerd next to you and he'll spend the next 30 minutes telling you all about it. Yeah, that's the thing. For more information, consult your local comic nerd. That's what I would like. So yeah, I mean, Deadpool, really positive, really shockingly positive too. That this one surprised the hell of us. I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go see it again, and I'm going to be interested to find out exactly like at the end of its run what it makes, because it's going to be big.
It
It's going
is
to be big.
it is going to be big, and I think this is going to change a lot of minds. And I know in my own review I said I don't think it's the game changer that everyone thought it was going to be, but now as it makes more money, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, whether it's a game changer in a good way or a bad way is yet to be seen.
yeah. No, well, as I said before in this podcast, I do. It seems like a lot of studios now are probably going to be like, oh, well, that Deadpool made a lot of money because it was R18 and it was funny. So let's make all our movies that, and they just try and copy that, with the soundtrack and like the
Mm-hmm.
quippy characters and everything.
Uh,
I just hope they don't do that.
Yeah, I hope so too. Moving forward too, I also want to do a topic video. Be like, why did Deadpool succeed where movies like Dread and Punisher Warzone and Kick-Ass, were seen as failures? Why do you think that, Matt? If you had to guess, because me
Yeah,
personally,
well, again, I think it all has to do with, I think.
because to me, like it came down to trailers, is what it was. Deadpool had an amazing trailer and a leaked teaser even before that kind of blew people away. The great soundtrack was another thing, and the
Hmm.
fact that it looked kind of more comedic, like it looked more approachable than stuff like Kick Ass or Punisher Warzone or Dread did.
Yep, yep.
Or at least that's the way I look at it. Hey, I figured that's an interesting thought I had while sitting on the toilet today. Surely I can expand that into 4 minutes. Well, I sit in front of the camera. Surely I can think of something off the back of that. And again too, because like everyone's been making such a big deal out of the rating, like oh, it's so depraved and so violent at an R rating. Maybe I'm just jaded from a lifetime of R-rated movies. I didn't think it was that over the top. Did you?
Nope, nothing, nothing too bad in that.
I mean,
I've
yeah,
seen worse.
I know, right? It's like, yeah, they drop a lot of F bombs, and yes, there's the pegging, as we mentioned before, and there's like 2 seconds of blink and you'll miss them boobs during a strip club scene, but honestly, I didn't think it was that hard an R. Like you said, we've seen way harder Rs.
Yeah, and there was like no real I thought he was gonna like eviscerate people with his swords and there'd be blood and shit and everything going everywhere, but there wasn't.
Like, I mean,
It was
hell,
like really none of that.
like Kill Bill, like that fight scene from Kill Bill, like
Yeah,
she got more
yeah,
violent with her swords. But then again, you have an interesting thing where it's like that fight scene from Kill Bill was ultimately more cartoony with the blood spurting everywhere than Deadpool, who is a cartoony character who spills a regular real world amount of blood.
yeah. It's strange to think that people were going so over this R18 for nothing really.
Like I was honestly expecting Looney Tunes, and then the more I think about it, I'm like, well, Dread and Punisher Warzone, that movie had Looney Tunes violence in it, where like a guy gets hit by an anvil and just turns into red paste or like a red mist.
Yeah, maybe that's like part of the reason why it succeeded. It didn't do like that gratuitous violence that all
Right.
those ones did.
Yeah, I mean, like, which is weird to think that it's like, when I'm thinking of words to describe Deadpool, never did I think I would describe it as not gratuitous.
Yeah, restraint or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
like this is a movie where we see Ryan Reynolds jerk off, is
Yeah,
the
with a
thing,
baby hand.
with a baby hand, and yet it's not gratuitous. It's all very organic. Just so many things I never thought I would say about Deadpool that I'm now seeing. You know what else is, I think, a total secret weapon of Deadpool, and one of the reasons why it succeeds so great?
What's that?
Because you have a character with a mask that covers his entire face. That means that if you think of a better joke or a better line later, you can just dub it in and no one can tell the difference.
I think that's like what they did with a lot of the things as well.
Yeah.
I think that's what they did. Yeah.
So, hey,
That was
Spider Man, take note of that moving forward, that you can dub funnier quips in later.
yeah, or like Iron Man or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, people with masks that cover their mouths.
Yeah, that they can basically say whatever you want them to say. And I guess with that, we'll wind down another episode of the Comic Multiverse. It was an uphill battle getting this episode done, but we finally did it. We know all you fans out there are going to appreciate it. I've actually been checking the stats, and there's a hell of a retention rate out there for the people who love this show. They love it a lot, and we love you for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, means a whole lot of us, for liking and sharing and doing all that social media jazz. It's funny. I think people got all reverse psychology last week when I'm like, yeah, Cape Joel has a Facebook page, but don't go to it or anything because it's not ready yet. I'm not happy with it. And then every week more and more people go to it. So yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Joel said don't go to the Facebook page, so what he really meant was go to the Facebook page. But yeah, so again, thanks everyone for watching the show and everything. Be sure to check out Matt over at Fortress of Solitude. Give him a like and a follow and a favorite if you're not already. And I guess we'll join you next week with a brand new show. Until next time,
Yeah.
everyone, this is Joel, and I will see you later.
See ya.
Bye bye. That was Matt who said that, by the way. In case you were wondering, there's only two of us, but he was the one who said it.